Uh-oh. Motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. The latest on what is supposed to be the Mayer versus Lauren Price fight. Guy who goes by the name SSRTX007 asked, when is the next Michaela Mayer fight? I'm kind of blown that she isn't fighting on that all-woman show in July, to which young Mikaela responded, I'm going for undisputed against Price, and I'm in the gym, waiting on the call. Michaela is a very special fighter, very special girl, and I've grown fond of her over the years because she has become synonymous with some of the more entertaining and thrilling fights we've seen in the sport of women's boxing, whether you're talking about the Maiva Hamadouche fight, the Alicia Baumgartner fight, the Jonas fight, or the Sandy Ryan fights. She brings excitement and fire to the sport. And now she's targeting Lauren. Now is the time to fight her. When she's only 9-0, when she's still green. At the rate that Lauren Price is progressing, it won't be long before this is a no-win scenario for everybody at 147. But while she's just 9-0, still green around the gills, hasn't been in a dogfight yet, now is the time to act. Now is the time to strike. And I think that young Mikaela understands that she is the more experienced professional of the two, even if she's not the more highly decorated amateur. This ain't the Emmys. This is the pros. The caveat is that both respective promoters for both fighters are going through a nebulous broadcast situation. We don't know what the future of Boxer is, any more than we know what the future of Top Rank is. And with that, we don't know what the future of this fight is. How soon can we expect it to happen, promoted by who, and on what platform? We just don't know. But I maintain my original position that Michaela's best bet to win this fight is to make it a fight and not a boxing match. Make it a dog fight, because Lauren hasn't been in one of those, and I understand that there are risks involved. But it's her only chance. I think Michaela's great, but I don't think she can match Lauren Price's hand speed or foot speed. The girl's fast as lightning. To where if you try to box her up behind a jab, picking your spots, picking your moments, and taking your time, she's gonna be too fast for you. The only way to win is to bear down on her and rough her up. Make her fight at a pace that she's not used to, at a range that she's not used to. Make her fight on your terms instead of acquiescing to hers, because if you try to box her, she's gonna be too quick for you. Quick to move, quick to counter. Her power is coming along, too. I've been noticing that fight by fight, that Lauren is transitioning from an amateur style to a more pro style. She's doing damage. She's hurting these girls. Could she hurt Michaela? Michaela's shown a good chin across several weight classes. A good chin at 130, a good chin at 147, and she's fought punchers. Punchers like Maiva Hamadouche, punchers like Sandy Ryan. She's not frail or fragile. She can hold a shot, so I don't know that Lauren knocks her out. Speed is the biggest issue. The discrepancy in Lauren's speed compared to Michaela's. Michaela's tough, but Lauren will beat her to the punch if she's not careful, so Michaela's got to try to rough her up, bear down on her, and try to mow her down. And even that's her best bet. But that doesn't guarantee the victory. That is just her best bet. I like how she's running towards the danger, towards the legacy. In a fight that maybe she doesn't win, Michaela doesn't care. She's supremely confident. She believes in herself, and it's hard not to believe in her. See if this fight happens. In men's welterweight news, Bill Haney turns his attention to Brian Norman Jr. With unified welterweight champion Jaron Ennis moved on to the junior middleweight division and Teofimo Lopez Jr. withdrawing from negotiations, Devin Haney and his manager, trainer, and father, Bill Haney, are now targeting WBO welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr. In a Tuesday conversation with Boxing Scene, the elder Haney said he's confident he can secure a deal that will pay Norman 28-0 with 22 KOs more than what he wanted to fight Ennis last year to strike a showdown between his unbeaten two-weight world champion son and Norman. We've made it clear, it's Devin Haney versus everybody, and Brian Norman Jr. is on that list, Bill Haney said. You guys, Team Norman, said that you wanted more to fight Ennis. Well, guess what? We know what your more is, and if you want that to fight Devin the Dream Haney, then you can get that next. It's a little hard to imagine how Devin Haney could win a fight against Brian Norman when he just treated a slow-footed plotter in Jose Ramirez like enriched uranium. I mean, what the hell was he doing for 36 minutes? Social distancing? The shutdown was 5 years ago, buddy. It's okay for you to get in close and do some business. You didn't want to, and that was with a past prime, slow-footed Jose Ramirez. So what are you going to do to Brian? Georgia's Brian Norman, 24, is coming off a sensational Thursday showing in Japan, knocking out Jin Sasaki in the 5th round in highlight reel fashion to bolster his profile after previously venturing to the home arena of Giovanni Santillan in San Diego to knock him out last year. Norman intends to enjoy the win for a few days, then get back to work. His manager, Jolene Mazzone, told Boxing Scene earlier this week Devin Haney posted a unanimous decision win over former unified 140-pound champion Jose Ramirez May 2nd in New York's Times Square in a comeback bout from his 3-knockdown loss to Ryan Garcia in April of last year that was later changed to a no contest, following Garcia's 3 positive tests for the banned substance, Asterin. Haney, 32-0 with 15 KOs, was subjected to criticism for an invasive showing with few punches against Ramirez, but he and his father have responded to that by pressing for big bouts that seem far more certain to entertain.
Do they have a choice?
You guys want to maintain your free agency, not making a commitment to a promotional outfit that would guarantee you a certain dollar amount per fight. You want to stay free, you want to move around. Well, the only other guy that can get you the kind of money you're looking for is Turkey LL Sheik. But he's not going to get you that money for ham and eggers.
He'll pay you, and he'll pay you well.
He paid you really well to box Jose Ramirez in what was tantamount to a layup, en route to a Ryan Garcia rematch that has now been fizzled out, but that's the justification, that he only paid you whatever he paid you as an investment towards a Garcia rematch. Now that that's off the table,
So is Teofimo.
to make money, you gotta take chances. A planned August 16th welterweight bout in Saudi Arabia at 145 pounds with current WBO champion Lopez fell apart in the 11th hour as Lopez bulked. And now the Haneys are pursuing a young champion in Norman whose left hook disposal of Sasaki caught the sport's full attention. You had one hell of a hellacious knockout down there in Japan against a formidable and game opponent, but you guys lived off social media against Boots, and you were looking for him. Devo didn't like that energy. So now that you've been disappointed by Boots, we've got to fight, Bill Haney said. He, Norman, would be getting everything he could want and ask for. If not, then shut up and get out of our way. Bill Haney declined to say who would fund the bout after earlier mentioning the interest of Saudi Arabian boxing financier Turkey LL Sheik. When you've got Devin, you've got the fight. It's big. Do you want it or not? Bill said. His daddy, trainer Brian Norman Sr., said Norman Jr. should have got $2 million, and he said he speaks for his son. I said, okay, we can get the $2 million. Sign on the dotted line. The elder Haney earlier Tuesday tweeted to Norman, same deal you wanted for Boots. Will you take for the dream?
They might, because fighting Devin Haney is not as risky as fighting Jaron Ennis. Not when you're treating a slow-footed guy in Jose Ramirez like he's radioactive.
Haney said, his former unified lightweight champion's son's hit list is like nothing you've ever seen before. Now comes the hard work of pressing for a deal to become a reality. Preliminary rumors suggest that Devin Haney has already signed on to fight Brian Norman Jr. According to his father, Bill Haney, Devin Haney has signed a contract to fight Brian Norman Jr. next. A massive fight at 147 pounds is coming up for the WBO welterweight title.
Who's supposed to be paying for this?
They're saying it's Turkey El Sheik who's supposed to be paying for it.
After what Turkey El Sheik said about Tom and Jerry fights, and after Devin Haney's Tom and Jerry performance with Jose.
The Haneys know that they're backed into a corner, that if they don't take on a dangerous fight like this one, where is their next payday supposed to come from? What are they supposed to do? The Ryan Garcia fight is dead. Teofimo Lopez balked. He'd rather sit out. He'd rather do nothing.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Let's get a few things straight and a few things clear. I don't like Devin Haney's chances in this fight at all. I think stylistically, the fight doesn't favor him, and physically, it doesn't favor him.
You already know he's susceptible to the left hook.
So the Ryan Garcia fight, and we saw how he stayed so far on the outside of Jose Ramirez. It wasn't even a fight.
I know how you and your son get down. Y'all try to diminish niggas like y'all above somebody. You ain't above shit, Bill. When we whoop your ass, no. When we whoop your ass, watch this. When my son whoop your son's ass, I'm going to tell him to step over that nigga to then go to your corner. I'm going to say, make sure you step over that nigga while he on the ground and walk to your corner to show you are beneath him. Do you understand me? I don't give a fuck about money. I don't give a fuck about what you think you got. He's going to step over. He's going to step on your son, and then he going to step over your motherfucking son. That's what's going to happen.
A few passing thoughts. What Brian Norman Sr. is hooping and hollering about is the same thing I noticed last week on the Boxing Voice when they spoke to each other about the potentiality of this fight, this sort of holier-than-thou attitude from Bill.
As if they're so much above the Normans, as if they're the ones that call the shots and they're the ones in control when they are just as much at the mercy of the powers that be as the Normans.
You're not the ones in charge. You're not the ones paying to make anything happen. And you need this fight just as much as the Normans need this fight, because Devin Haney, with that performance in Times Square, fast became a member of the Who Needs You Club. Mario Barrios doesn't need you, he's got Pacquiao, and Pacquiao's got him. Rolly's got the winner.
Teofimo is retarded.
They walked away from 8 million or 11 million or whatever it was to fight you to do absolutely nothing but sit online tweeting tweets.
The Haneys need a big fight just as much as the Normans need a big fight. So for Bill to take this stance, as if they are the ones affording the Normans this opportunity, as if they are the ones in charge. Whoever's paying for the show is who's in charge.
And that ain't used to. So what are you doing? What's this childlike need to appear like you're the boss? You're your own boss.
Kids with a play phone, man. Kids with a play phone.
Brian Norman Sr. has seen and heard enough of it, and he's not putting up with it anymore. An ominous forecast, an ominous fight prediction. He anticipates his son will knock out Bill's son. Is there any truth to that? X's and O's.
Devin Haney is a pure boxer, and where he may have largely benefited from a height advantage and a reach advantage as a lightweight at welter, all of that is gone.
Some would say his confidence, along with it, his belief in himself and his boxing.
I think he's a ruined fighter. Damaged goods, absolutely. He hasn't recovered from that Ryan Garcia fight at all. And it showed in that last fight. You got a guy like Ramirez, bro. Slow as molasses. He could punch a little bit. A little bit. But the way you was running laps around that ring, bro, for 2.5 minutes at a time, bro, come on. That tells me right there, you don't want to get hit, you don't want to get touched, you don't believe in your chin, you feeling something different in training camp, you're not being honest with yourself, you're not being honest with, your father, you know what I'm saying? And you really don't want that smoke.
Well, I spoke to his father about that. He said that was the game plan. He said that he was the one that implemented that game plan himself, not Sugar Shane Mosley. And he said that Devin followed the game plan to a T. When I gave Bill Haney some pushback on it, Bill said that, hey, look, that was the sweet science. It's not rock and soccer. I say, Bill, I've been watching boxing a long time, and I do understand that you made the world champion in your son, but I know the sweet science. So and there's many different aspects of it. You felt that he was running. A lot of people felt that way. Some people said that Devin Haney, he didn't want to get punched, like you said, and that was obvious. I think the telltale sign of it was his eyes looked kind of wide in the ring, but that was one fight. Is it safe to call Devin Haney a runner just based on one fight? I mean, that was just one fight, Tim.
A fantastic sit-down interview from Coach Malachi and Timothy Bradley assessing Devin Haney's state of mind. Why did he fight Jose Ramirez the way that he did? Bill Haney's explanation is that he was told to do that, and he stuck to the plan. But why was that the plan? Why was he told to do that? Why are you treating Jose Ramirez like he's got the bubonic plague?
Feel like he's got the cooties.
It's gotta be because you didn't want to get hit. That was obvious. You're deathly afraid of getting hit. And now you're gonna go in there with Brian, who's younger than Jose Ramirez, faster on his feet, sharper with his output, more devastating with his power.
You saw what happened when he hit Jin Suzuki. What do you think happens if he hits you? Or are you gonna do with him what you did with Jose? Because nobody wants to see that.
I think there is something to what Timothy is suggesting. The residual effects of the Ryan Garcia fight, the suggested PTSD that Devin is still suffering from, because when you're in there with a guy as slow as Jose, you should be able to exploit that. If you're younger and sharper and faster, you should be able to put one or two punches together with regularity.
No long spells of silence. No staying so far outside of the guy, you're not even fighting him.
Because you're fresher, because you're younger, if you're confident, you should be able to exploit how slow he is, how slow his hands are, how slow on his feet he is.
Devin didn't.
So to then go straight into a Brian Norman fight, after a performance like that, it's indicative of the desperation, the scarcity of options the Haneys have, what they are reduced to, but what they may be willing to risk for a big Saudi bag.
Ka-ching.
Preliminary thoughts. Devin Haney stylistically would be in a fight that doesn't favor him, and physically, it's just the same. Brian Norman is young too. He's fresh. He's unbeaten. And he's stronger than you are. He's a bona fide welterweight, not a little guy that moved up like you.
He's got welterweight power. What have you got?
Not enough power to stop him, not enough power to knock him out, and perhaps not enough confidence. So this is a fight that the American boxing scene can get behind, and I said as much last week that this will become the new hot button topic in the welterweight division, more than Pacquiao versus Barrios.
No buzz around a fight like that. It's a novelty act.
But because Brian Norman's star is ascending, and Devin Haney is attempting to recapture his greatness, integrating himself into the welterweight division, this is a fight that people can get behind. This is a fight that people can get excited about.
It's a stroke of luck for the Normans.
I'd say it is, because after Jaron Ennis moved up, they were facing the same scarcity as the Haneys. They were also members of the Who Needs Ya Club. Apparently, you two guys need each other.
Oh, yes.
Unless you want to take the rest of the year off like Teofimo and sit on the bench, collecting nothing for doing nothing.
That's an option.
If Brian Norman were to get this fight and win this fight, this would be a signature win, more than the win over Santi Leon and more than the big knockout over Jin Suzuki. Devin has more notoriety than those fighters do, and at least on paper, he is a more decorated fighter than they are. If Brian can collect his scalp,
That's big.
and I think they fancy this fight a lot more than the Boots fight,